A very good afternoon and welcome to BC Lunchtime News. I am Brian Tumwine Biarohanga. We are starting off with the Okello case. The High Court is set to issue the judgment in the Christopher Okello case where he is accused of causing death of 4 toddlers at the Gaba Early Childhood Center. A presiding judge, Komhanji Alice, set 30th April, which is tomorrow, at 10 a.m. to deliver the judgment at the High Court sitting in Gaba. Onyom Christopher, on the 2nd of April, allegedly assessed the Gaba Early Childhood Center as stabbing 4 toddlers to death. He was committed to the High Court, which started hearing the case on the 30th April 2026. The court proceedings ended after prosecution had presented 18 witnesses and 2 defense witnesses. Prosecution stated that they demonstrated through their witnesses that Okello committed the crime with intent. However, defense argued that Okello should be acquitted because he committed the crime with a mental problem. The court assessors also issued their statement arguing that prosecution had presented evidence beyond reasonable doubt that Okello is guilty. We shall keep updated of the developments regarding this case that has been resolved under 1 month. Now let's head to the World Safety Day. The government has pledged to expand safety programs to inform sector to enhance their working conditions since the majority workforce is within this sector. Now the Assistant RDC in Jeru Municipality, Boyikwe District, Nisima Gajibayo, made the remarks during the commemoration of the World Day for the Safety and Health at the Workplace, where mental well-being of workers was overemphasized. Nisima, represented by the Minister for Gender, Betty Amongi. We have the report.
Uganda has joined the rest of the world to commemorate the World Day for Safety and Health at Work, a day aimed at creating awareness on improved workplace conditions and mental well-being of workers. Leaders emphasize that mental health is fundamental in ensuring productivity and employee welfare.
Strengthening psychosocial risk management and integrating mental health interventions into national OSH systems, scaling up sensitization campaigns and public awareness, enhancing collaboration with stakeholders to take advantage of various capacities and resources in the management of OSH, but also enhancing training and leveraging accurate data collection on OSH.
The government pledged to expand safety programs to the informal sector, which still faces occupational risks, yet employs the majority of Uganda's workforce.
The amendment of the Occupational Safety and Health Act in 2025 was a broad and necessary reform, putting emphasis on the need for employers to monitor workers' health, including mental health, and extending protection to the informal sector, where over 85% of our workforce earns a living.
Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development is prioritizing workplace inspection and the enforcement of amended Occupational Safety and Health Act.
We are advocating for what we are calling Vision Zero. Vision Zero being a mindset, the idea that we can actually achieve zero harm within our workplaces. With this radical yet critical and very basic perspective, I just add a prayer that today will mark a new chapter for safety and health across Uganda.
Local leaders have welcomed practical measures to ensure safety at workplaces, while workers' representatives raised concerns over poor working conditions in some sectors.
In environments, in workplaces where employers are committed to safety and health, productivity is 52% higher. So if your workplace is a safe and good environment, you're likely to see a higher level of productivity.
It is my prayer that every factory, stock industries put up clinics with the qualified health workers to attend to the injured workers and avoid sudden death.
A safe workplace is not just about hard hats, gloves, and securing items. It is about a good physical, social working environment.
The World Day for Safety and Health at Work serves as a reminder that protecting workers' physical and mental well-being is essential for national productivity and sustainable development. Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Thank you very much, Mary, for that. The Parliamentary Joint Committee of Defense, Internal and Legal Affairs concluded receiving submissions from various stakeholders. The committee is now headed for a retreat to prepare its report that will be presented in the next Parliament sitting. Bank of Uganda officials were among the last stakeholders to challenge the bill, arguing that it was usurping the powers of the bank, which could cripple its operational independence. Daniel Mugoya brings us to speed.
Oh, and the deputy governor. Wow, the whole leadership is here. Yes, please, sit.
Critics of the controversial Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 are up as Bank of Uganda joins them.
Article 162, subsection 2 of the Constitution clearly protects the Bank of Uganda from being subject to direction or control of any person or authority in performing its functions.
The governor, BOU, Michael Atingi Ego, has expressed various concerns that could contradict the existing legal framework suppose the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 is approved.
And Chair, in addition, with respect to matters concerning financial institutions, the Financial Institutions Act takes precedence over any enactment, and in case of conflict, it shall prevail.
Michael talks about regulatory fragmentation, which could result in overlapping regulations and affect economic growth. The governor warns about the intentions to usurp the independence of Bank of Uganda.
This assessment argues that the bill in its current form risks introducing regulatory fragmentation and subjecting this economy to voluntary shocks, potentially undermining the very economic strength upon which true national sovereignty is built.
Michael Atingi Ego reveals how the legislation risks reversing 3 decades of successful financial development through liberalization that has sustained economic growth.
What this bill is introducing, it is introducing what we call time and policy inconsistency. That is going to threaten the tenfold growth that the government of Uganda is aspiring. If you look at our investment levels that are required, they are far much lower than the savings we have. So we require foreign capital to fill up this gap.
The central bank has asked Parliament to allow it to retain exclusive authority over the financial sector.
Because the bill is so restrictive in regulation, it's likely to drive actors into informality. We are going to have informal channels again coming back. Think like the Hawala systems or the unregulated financial instruments, which is eroding the tax base and undermining the bill-stated goal of transparency.
BOU is against the requirement that the minister approves foreign financial support above 400 million shillings and the prohibition of banks from paying out funds to foreign agents without the minister's authorization.
Also, Honourable Members of Parliament, we are now in a digital economy where real-time transactions take place. Now, we require the Minister of Internal Affairs to approve any payments that are going to be made by agents of foreigners to foreigners. In real-time payments, straight-through processing, at what point does the Minister of Internal Affairs come in?
Several stakeholders have objected to the proposed legislation, which government claims will be the only solution to regulate foreign interests that targets destabilizing the country's sovereignty. The Financial Intelligence Authority Executive Director Samuel Wandera has backed Bank of Uganda by presenting to the MPs how the bill will likely cause more harm than good.
And Chair, of course, given the good intentions at the Financial Intelligence Authority, we think that this bill may create some unintended consequences, which will be increased informality and illegal channels of financial inflows into the country, such as alternative value transfer systems, including the use of the hawalas, the virtual assets, and this may obscure the visibility of such transactions by law enforcement agencies.
Bugweri County MP Abdu Katuntu accused the FIA of negligence which could have provoked government to introduce fresh legislation.
You remember we set you up by an act of parliament because we thought everything here which has been brought, you'd be able to handle it. Is this a confession that actually you failed in your duties and therefore we are setting up a parallel system? And since the bill came up, have you to either Bank of Uganda or FIA talk to your line minister, say what is this going on? If you haven't, then you're not doing.
These institutions already are operating effectively under well-established statutory mandates, and reaffirming their primacy would preserve the regulatory coherence and accountability, avoid dual licensing and inspection.
The concerns presented by the authorities, including Bank of Uganda and the Financial Intelligence Authority, could hold intentions of the government to add color to the safeguards of the Constitution. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
Thank you very much, Dan Mogoya. The Ministry of Internal Affairs has apprehended over 200 foreign nationals allegedly operating in the country illegally. The suspects were picked from Kampala and Adjumani district after intelligence-led operations. Ivan Kahwa reports that these suspects were paraded before the press at the Internal Affairs Ministry. Let's take a look.
Ministry of Internal Affairs has paraded 169 foreign nationals at its headquarters in Kampala following an operation conducted in Ibukoto-Ntinda area.
Today I have a big issue.
The individuals are alleged to have been operating in the country without valid immigration status. Authorities say they were residing in a highly restricted apartment and engaging in suspicious activities.
Self-contained apartment complex equipped with its own restaurant and internal facilities designed to restrict movement and ensure a total focus on illicit operations. The area where we got these ones had very strict access both to entry and exit.
Several exhibits, including computers and other IT equipment, were recovered from the apartment, which has since been designated as a crime scene.
Used to facilitate illegal gaming, betting, and organized scamming. You have heard of people who call and scam people pretending to be investors here. This is the group.
Efforts to access the premises were unsuccessful as access required multiple levels of authorization. Preliminary reports indicate that some of the individuals may have been trafficked into Uganda under false promises of employment. They are currently undergoing screening and processing.
Those found in violation of Uganda immigration laws will face prosecution in accordance with the country's laws. Cases involving suspected trafficking or criminal activity will be referred to the appropriate law enforcement agencies for further investigation.
Meanwhile, 62 Nigerian nationals were arrested in Adjumani district for operating illegally without valid work permits, including running a church.
These people come under the guise of preaching the gospel and hide behind the other irregular activities.
Authorities are advising landlords to exercise greater caution when renting out their properties in order to enhance security.
Thank you very much, Ivan Kahwa. Now, UBC Lunchtime News takes a very short commercial break, and we shall do return with how transport fares have been hiked in different parts of the country due to the fuel shortages in some parts of Uganda.
When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama, kabalansi? Eh? Ah. Nkuwaire 15 ate. Mama, nkuwaire 15.
Ompaire 15.
Abantu abakulu atandise obuyayi mwene.
Obuyayi obuliga.
Iwe.
Ngobi yanko bantu
sente dange ninzade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. UBC Lunchtime News continues. Bus owners and operators under their umbrella, Uganda Bus Owners Association, have announced an increase in transport fares on every route due to the rise of the cost of fuel. Now, the increase has been adjusted between 5 and 10,000 shillings. This was revealed during the press conference at the UBOA offices in Lubaga, Kampala. Let's take a look.
The pump price fuel has increased at almost every fuel station, which is attributed to the war in the Middle East. The chairperson Uganda Bus Owners Association, Solomon Nsimire, announced an increase in fares on every route. This was during a press conference at their offices in Kampala.
Bus owners and operators. So we have all unanimously agreed to make that adjustment.
Nsimire told the media that effective immediately, fares on all routes have been increased between 5 to 10,000 shillings.
Starting from today, we are going to increase our transport fares by an average of 10,000 shillings for every journey so that it can cater for the increased inputs.
Passengers have been urged to remain calm as the situation stabilizes to normal fares.
I appeal to the general public to bear with us, because if we don't increase our prices, then we shall not be able to offer this service. And we have agreed that we are regularly sitting to review our prices, and we shall be communicating accordingly.
Meanwhile, the government will come out to engage with bus owners to either reduce fares or continue with the current situation. Andrew Sebira compiled this report.
Thank you very much, Ivan Kahwa, for that. Now, the first Deputy Prime Minister, that is Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, has called for additional structures to strengthen the Laws on Access to Information Act. She stated this depriving from a civil society report linking weak enforcement of the Access to Information Act as one of the major enablers of corruption. Let's take a look.
It's one of the most transformative rights of our time. Bridges the gap between government and citizens, between power and accountability, between silence and participation. I'm happy to say that the Republic of Uganda was one of the first to enact the law, but it came as a private member's bill.
The law was made in rush because it does not address most of the pertinent issues. And that is why when we are commenting or doing a comparative study of the laws across the region, you'll discover that countries like Tanzania, Kenya, and Rwanda that came up with their access to information laws picked lots of leaves from Uganda's law because it had quite a number of gaps which are yet to address.
I think there are other steps that need to be completed in order to make it more effective. Otherwise, it's already in place since 2005.
every ministry, agency, and department is supposed to submit reports showing that we received this number of information requests from the public, we responded to this number, and we rejected this particular number, and also state reasons why they did not respond to those requests. So, but our practice in this country, from the time the law was enacted in 2005, we found that most ministries, agencies, and departments have not been complying. They have not been submitting those annual reports to Parliament. The big question is, where is the Parliament at this moment?
I want to commit the government that we shall work with our regional partners to harmonize our approaches to access to information, support the exchange of best practices, data, and technical expertise, encourage cross-border collaboration on investigations that rely on information from multiple sources, such as corruption, environmental harm, and public health emergencies.
Can we have a commission or an authority that is existing that can handle that, such that we avoid this whole scapegoat of we do not have finances, we do not have human resources, so we cannot establish an independent commission. This responsibility can be given to another or an already existing commission to help with that process.
Many Ugandan citizens are not aware of their right to information and how to exercise it in the law. And this has affected the ability to demand for information, which in turn affects service delivery.
Access to information. The Microfinance Support Center wrapped up a 3-day exchange visit as leaders from Emyooga circles across the Ankole sub-region visited top-performing circles in the Rwenzori-Toro sub-region. The program delivered practical skills and fresh ideas in value addition, leadership, and overall circle management, strengthening cross-regional collaboration and operational excellence among Emyooga circle leaders. Let's take a look.
We know that people have money, but when people don't have the knowledge, when people are not exposed, they may not be able to perform better and also make their circles grow and be sustainable in the long run.
I don't think there is anyone who has gone to school to study that, but because of this exchange, they keep tapping from that knowledge, then they take it to other places, like how the old woman told us yesterday, and that knowledge keeps growing and you find them doing good things in the community.
This is a revelation of how 21 groups of women entrepreneurs and 561 members are inspiring hands-on skills across Mwenge Central and far beyond.
I think our job as the RDC in this program is to make sure that we protect these people. If they have made some product, give them security and make sure that their products that they produce are safer, because that's the main job that the president appoints us for.
When you don't use Momo, you get insulted by strangers. Save yourself from insults. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312 206 400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
In 1986, a new chapter began. A fundamental change was etched into the heart of our nation. Uganda has since then witnessed a socio-economic transformation under the leadership of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni through peace and security of persons and property, economic growth, infrastructure expansion, health improvements, education, regional integration, industrialization, digital transformation, youth and women empowerment, wealth creation, among others. A nation once in recovery is now a beacon of regional stability. The people have spoken, and the NRM government has been given another term in office. The Board of Directors, management and staff of the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation proudly congratulate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa upon his resounding victory in the recent elections. Witness history as it happens as we broadcast the swearing-in ceremony on Tuesday, the 12th of May 2026, live at the Kololo Independence Grounds here on UBC TV, our radio stations, and all our digital platforms. Ugandans, let's protect our gains. Long live NRM, long live Uganda. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. UBC Lunchtime News continues with sports. Uganda's under-17 national team, the Cubs, has stepped up preparations ahead of the 2026 Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. The team is currently training in the Mandela National Stadium Annex, focusing on tactical discipline and match readiness as the tournament draws closer. Let's take a look.
Two weeks to the tournament, and the coaches have trained us so well. We're in good shape. So far there are no injuries, and since we have been training so good, we promise to put up a good performance, get out of the group stages and qualify for the World Cup, and even to play hard to win the AFCON trophy.
Alright, take a rest.
UBC Lunchtime News. With that story, we wrap it up, and we do ask you to later on be with us at 7 p.m. for UBC Lero, and later on at 8 and 10 p.m. for both UBC Tonight. My name is Brian Tumwine Biaruhanga. Goodbye and God bless Uganda.